about to get started with our practice this morning. We'll start with a seated grounding meditation, some breath work, go into movement with yoga, functional movement, joint resiliency, lymphatic shaking, and then we'll end with a nice long shavasana, final relaxation pose. So if there's anything in your body that you're looking forward to stretching or strengthening, or a pose that you're working towards, you can always drop it in the chat, and I will do my best to make sure we address that and work into that space throughout our movement practice here today. So that can happen at any time. Feel free to drop things into the chat. Everything that I lead you through is an invitation, so don't get too hung up on how it looks or anything. It's not a dance routine. You don't have to go exactly at my pace. You know, you can always take your time. Locust pose would be great. Okay, sounds great. We'll do some locust pose. Chest opening and upper back strengthening. Yeah, yep. I got you. Cool. So, we'll start seated up nice and tall, whether you're in a chair or on the ground. On the ground, you might have your legs crossed. And the invitation here is just to sit up on a blanket or a block, just to elevate your hips a bit. Let your knees fall forward a little bit lower than your hips. Heart comes over hips and head over heart, like there's a string pulling you up from the crown of your head towards the sky. Hands come to rest on the lap, either palms down to ground down, or palms up to give and receive energy if you feel you've got a little extra to give today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable, if not, lowering them to a soft gaze just beyond your legs. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose, shoulders rise up towards the ears, and an audible sigh out the mouth, shoulders drop away. Allow the breath to continue in and out through the nose if that's available, returning to a natural breath's pace. We'll take a moment here just to arrive. And let go of everything that came before and everything that's to come up after. And become present to yourself here in this moment, here in this space. And begin to allow sounds into your awareness. There might be sounds at a distance, passing traffic or singing birds. The sounds might come from within your home. The shuffling of a pet or buzzing of some electronics. Allowing all sounds and all part of this moment, this experience. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel the weight where your body makes contact with the ground below you. weight of your hands on your knees. And begin to scan your body from head down towards toes. Checking in for any places of tightness or sensitivity. Any restlessness or fidgeting. We'll just use this information to work into those spaces that call up for our attention throughout our movement practice today. We'll shift that awareness from the body, Annamaya Kosha, to the breath and energetic level, Pranamaya Kosha. Just taking note here where you're at energetically on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being exhausted, fatigued, ready to crawl into bed. 10 being so full of energy it's hard to sit still. We'll shift that awareness to the breath. No need to change it, just observe inhalations, exhalations, and whatever space in between. Just noticing the quality of the breath, how deep or shallow, and where that natural rise and fall in the body occurs due to the breath. Belly or chest or shoulders. And we'll shift the attention up to the mind, Manomaya Kosha. Allow thoughts and feelings to arise freely here. And just give yourself some space from them, observing them from a distance. No need to engage. And just reining it back in, noticing what are the quality of the thoughts today. Do they have a positive or a negative tilt to them? Are they ruminating on the past or attempting to predict the future? Not right or wrong, not good or bad, just something to notice. We'll bring that attention back down to the breath. This time actively expanding the breath. Every inhale sips in a little more air. And every exhale lets something more go. Inhales fill belly like a balloon. Inhaling through the nose, belly expands. And exhales drop belly button in towards spine, completely deflating. Following the breath in and out through the nose, deepening the breath. More complete exhale. Inhale fills belly, and ribs expand. And exhale, releases ribs and belly. Inhale, fills belly, ribs, and chest fills with air. Exhales, release chest, ribs, belly. Continuing like this in 3 parts, filling the belly, ribs, and chest with air. And exhaling from top to bottom, chest, ribs, belly. And when the mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, focusing on the 3 parts. On your next exhale, releasing any effort from the breath. So returning to a natural breath space, letting go of that Dirga pranayam, that 3-part breathing. Use as an exercise to build this relationship with the breath and calm the nervous system. Bring our hands to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra, no space between the fingers and the thumbs pressed into the sternum. Consider here setting an intention or a dedication for your practice, your reason for showing up to the mat today. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of Om. You're invited to chant along with me, of course. First, a cleansing breath. Allow your hands to release to your lap, chin drops towards chest, and on an inhale, right ear rolls over towards right shoulder. Exhale, releasing chin towards chest, and head rolls over towards left shoulder. Just allowing the head to gently roll side to side here. And the next time the head rolls through center, bring it up to neutral. Begin to roll the shoulders forward. Just working into the space between the shoulder blades and the upper back. Roll the shoulders back. Opening space in the chest, up by the collarbones. Really no wrong way to do this. The eyes can even stay closer to this part. And come to stillness in the shoulders. Just working into the neck. Fingers come to the jawbone. Just bring them out about an inch. Just give the head a slide side to side. Still breathing fully. towards toes. I'm going to turn so you can see what the movement looks like. So from the shoulders down, we stay still. Just the head and neck are going to move here. Chin tucks down towards chest, nose reaches towards the ground, forward towards the wall in front, up towards the sky, and back towards the wall behind. Chin tucks back down towards chest. We smooth that movement out. A little loosey break. So just keep breathing fully here. And we'll change directions. Chin is up towards the sky, forward towards the wall in front, down towards the ground, and tuck the chin back in. We're going to smooth this movement out, getting to the far edges of our range of motion. Back to center. Shake it out a bit here. We'll inhale, arms sweep up overhead, reaching tall and out of the waist. On the exhale, right arm releases down, left arm reaches over for a side bend. And we'll sweep it over to the other side. So we're just following the breath in to rise and out to bend. Lateral bend, opening up these intercostal muscles, space between the ribs. Keep the opposite hip glued down to the ground. So when we're doing that energy scan, it can feel, or sometimes it can be naturally taken that the higher the number is, the better. So you want to be full of energy, right? 1 is, it's hard to function because you're so tired. And 10 is, you have so much energy, it's hard to sit still. So sometimes, different times of day and activities call for different amounts of energy. So it's not that we're always trying to have the most amount of energy possible at all times. Let's just meet with arms up overhead, deep breath in, reaching through the fingertips. And exhale, twist to the right. Left hand lands on right knee, right hand lands on the ground behind you. And twisting the chest towards the side wall. Inhale, back up through center. And exhale, twist left. So we're just going to follow the breath like this, into center, and out to twist. Right, so we're all in like different time zones and whatnot, so if you're doing this class and you're winding down for bed, then you probably don't want to be at like an 8 or a 9 with energy. You want to be bringing it down towards you're ready to crawl into bed. You know, maybe you're not going to bed exhausted every night, maybe that's not the goal, but probably on the lower end of the spectrum is going to be more appropriate. Back through center. Let's bend in the elbows and just bring the hands to ear height. Wave the hands out. Or even before you're going to give like a speech or a presentation, you probably don't want your energy to be too high either. Palms slip down, fingers wiggle side to side, where it's out of control. Obviously you want to be energized and vibrant, but you probably don't want to be jittery and nervous. So sometimes high amounts of energy can really translate to that. Palms flow up towards the sky. Fingers spread wide, you're really trying to reach your hands back here, and just give it a turn side to side. And I would definitely know, I'm definitely a high energy person, and sometimes that can translate into anxiety, so I think that's what made me gravitate towards yoga in the first place so many years ago, was just the idea that it's possible to help manage that nervous energy. All right, just nice and gentle, like you're shaking off water. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's wake up the lower body here. I'm like losing my voice, so just keep sipping tea. Awesome. All right, Lucy's on the mat, so we'll all stay on the floor. Smooches on the mat. Just roll out the ankles here, spread and scrunch the toes. Change directions. Bend in the knees, feet come nice and wide, and just drop the knees side to side. We're just waking up the hips here. And the next time the knees fall over to the right, we'll bring the hands to frame the knees and come into our tabletop pose. Share the space with me. Hands under shoulders, knees below hips. And inhale, belly drops, hips and chest rise for a cow pose. And exhaling, round in the spine, chin tucks in towards chest, pressing the ground away for cat. Inhaling, hands press down and back, knees press down and forward for a grip deeper and in the back. And exhale, pressing the ground away, hands press down and forward, knees press down and back, like you're trying to spread your mat apart for deeper rounding. Following your own breath now, allow the speed of your body to be informed by the length of your breath. On your next exhale through your cat pose, really exhale all air out of the breath, out of the body here. And release back to center. Okay. Let's inhale, right arm sweeps open towards the sky. And exhale, weave the arm through. We're just going to reach. We're not going to touch down quite yet. And inhale, arm sweeps up. Exhale, and weaves. Inhale, open. And exhale, weave the arm through, landing the side of the head and the shoulder on the ground. Left hand presses into the ground so hard that the shoulder comes up over the right, or towards it. So there's a twist in the spine. Hips stay up over the knees. Or thread the needle pose. Option here to extend the left arm forward. You should feel a stretch in your upper back here and that right shoulder blade particularly. And option here to extend the left leg long. This is not a dog underneath you. Okay. You might point the foot, bringing it to a little float. Just levitating that leg up nice and slow. So we don't want to use momentum here, just using that body strength. Breathing fully here, really focusing on pressing into the ground for that stability. Float this foot back down. Knee releases down to the mat. Hand comes down in front of the chest. And right arm sweeps back open towards the sky. Release that hand down to the mat. So face the screen. All the Lucy hairs in the world. Inhale, left arm sweeps up. Exhale, weave the arm through without landing. Inhale, arm sweeps open. Exhale, reach it through. Inhale, open. exhale, reach through, and this time coming down to land. Side of the head on the ground, and that shoulder. Hips stay over knees, and right hand presses into the ground to open up the chest towards the side wall. Similarly, pressing stronger and softer into the ground with this left arm to find the stretch on that shoulder blade. Option to bring the arm up overhead, the right arm up overhead. It changes the stretch and the effort in where in the body this stretch is located. You may extend this right leg straight, pointing the toes, and even floating that foot up, nice and slow without momentum. So really reaching through the foot and pressing down through the arms. You're sitting on my head, Lucy. Okay. I'm going to float this foot down nice and slow. I'm just feeling very attached today. Knee releases down, hand comes down onto in front of the chest. Left arm sweeps open and releases down. Alright, this is what we're doing today. So the toes tuck under, hips press up high for our downward facing dog. Let's pedal out the feet. Let one hip drop and then the other, fingers spread wide. Head hangs heavy. Finding the spacing that works for you. Chest is heavy, head is heavy, eyes stay open. Right leg sweeps up towards the sky. And then place it down. Left leg reaches back and up as well. Now let's take little baby steps forward to get the feet to the hands. And we'll bring the feet out to the edges of the mat. Bend in the knees, hips sink deep for our deep squat. And then legs extend long for our forward fold. Going between deep squat and forward fold. Next time we're in deep squat, let's hold it here. So we're gonna lean back in the chest so that we can get the hands up off the ground. Hips are heavy, we're trying to get the shoulders back, almost like your back is pressed up against a wall. Your hips and shoulders would touch it. Okay. So you're gonna release this left hand down towards the ground, bringing the shoulder or the arm to the inside of this knee. And the right hand comes onto the right knee and helps to press it open. So we're opening and closing this right knee, working into the hip. 2, 1. Nice. So just holding it out here for a deep breath. And then just pressing the shoulder into the knee for leverage. Releasing the right hand, sweeping it open. You're turning your chest towards the sky. If you've still got space to play here, you can bring your left arm under, and right hand reaches back to grab that left hand. So this is a full bind. So, the other direction. Hands slips open, this hand extends out, and turn. So you turn your palm towards the ceiling, and then bring the palm in towards your lower back. Top hand comes in to interlace with the hand or grab on kind of however you can. So the whole trick here is to not or the whole rule here is not to let yourself collapse forward to make this happen. You still want to have your chest reaching towards the sky. Alright, let's release it, like in reverse, one hand and then the other. Extend the legs out straight. For our Uttanasana, forward fold, let your head hang heavy, nodding the head yes, shaking the head no. Knees can be a little or a lot bent here. You can grab opposite elbows here for ragdoll, giving yourself a sway side to side or forward and back. Just letting the weight of the head and the shoulders elongate the spine, give the back a nice stretch. And then back to center, release the hands, bend in the knees, hips come down heavy. And the right arm will shoulder press into the inside of the right knee. And the left hand comes onto the left knee. And we just work into that knee, just opening and closing, using some arm strength to help get the hip open. Hold it open here for a couple breaths. So I'm really pressing my shoulder into the right knee to help stabilize this pose. I'm going to release the knee, but I'm still going to keep it open and press out open to the side. Left arm opens up towards the sky, holding my chest open towards the ceiling. Maybe this bottom hand extends straight, turn the palm towards the sky, and then bend in the elbow to bring the back of the hand close to the lower back. Left hand comes down, maybe to grab onto the other hand for a full bind. Chest is still facing up towards the ceiling. Release in reverse. Gently releasing the arms, bringing it back through center. Extend the legs straight. We'll heel toe the feet in towards one another until the big toes come to touch. There's just a little space between the heels so the ankles don't knock together. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center. Alright, we got a little space to play. Inhale, arms sweep up overhead. And exhale as the hands come down through heart center. The right knee bends in and comes in towards the chest. One-legged Tadasana. The deep breath in, knee closing. And exhale to slow extension forward with a slow motion French kick. Release that leg down. And it sweeps back. As it goes back, the head comes forward to counterbalance. For Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Notice the right hip's going to want to pop up, but instead we pull it down in alignment with the left, so that both hips are the same distance from the ground. Toes are facing the ground as well, and crown of the head's reaching forward, so the gaze is straight down below you. Option to have the arms up overhead, that makes it a little bit harder, just like making the letter T. Deep breath in here. And then exhale, bend this left knee, floating the right foot down, landing in a nice high plank. Hands can come down onto the hips, stabilize, square off the hips, left hip pulling back, right hip pressing forward. Deep breath in here, arms sweep up and back, open under your chest. And exhale, wave the arms down. Bring that back foot in just a bit so that the heel can drop down, coming to a 45-degree angle. And we'll extend the left leg straight. Bend and straight a couple times. And we'll straighten it for good in our Parsvottanasana pyramid pose. You still got space to play. You can pull the toes in towards the face. Like you're dragging your heel back. I'm really pulling my left hip back to get a stretch in this whole back of the left leg. Release the foot down, bend in the knee. We'll step it back to a plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. Deep breath in, scoot forward. And exhale, lowering down with control all the way down to the mat. Knees, chin, chest can come down as well. Hands release down by the sides. Palms face down. Fingertips reaching towards the feet. Squeeze the glutes, pressing the hips into the ground. Inhale, chest and shoulders rise. Exhale, gently lowering back down. Inhale, chest and shoulders rise, maybe arms rise as well. Exhale, lowering back down with control. Inhale, lifts chest, shoulders, head, arms, maybe even the feet. And then releasing legs, chest, arms, head. Twice more like that actually. Inhaling to rise all the way. And exhaling to gently touch down. Nice, hands come underneath the shoulders, pressing into the ground. Big toes come to touch, space between the knees, and we'll sink the hips down and back between, hips towards the heels, rather, to our child's pose. So as I'm pressing my hands into the ground, also you can bend in the elbows, hands come into prayer over the head to give the triceps a bit of a stretch. Deep breath here. Palms press into the ground. Tuck the toes under, sending the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Taking a moment here to just find your spacing, find the posture. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Hips are pressing up and back behind you like they're going to touch where the back wall meets the ceiling. Chest and head are heavy. Then we'll bend deep in the knees, sending the hips towards the heels. And give it a hop up to the hands. You can take more than one hop, or you can just step it up as well. Big toes come to touch. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale rolls you all the way up to stand. Arms sweep up when you get there. And exhale, hands to heart center as the left knee bends and floats up towards the chest. And take a deep breath in here. And on the exhale, it's like a slow motion front kick. You're really strengthening this quadricep, hip flexor muscle. Let the leg release down. Resetting as necessary. And as your leg goes back behind you, hinge forward, like you're making the letter T with your body. Keep this left hip down and in alignment with the right, so they're the same distance from the ground. Left toes facing the ground, crown of the head towards the wall in front. For Virabhadrasana 3, Warrior 3. Often to bring the arms up overhead. And bend in the right knee and gently float this left foot down, landing in our high lunge. Hands can come down onto the hips, just to square out, even out. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Really reaching the arms back, lifting the chest up, back bending here in this high lunge. On the exhale, hands release down to frame the right foot. Step the left foot in a few inches to drop the heel down. Foot comes to a 45-degree angle, and we'll begin to bend and extend the right knee. Just a couple times, just finding the edge of your range of motion here. And then finally straightening this right leg out. If you still got space to play, you can flex through that foot, bringing the toes towards the nose. It's almost like you're dragging your heel back. I'm really pulling my right hip back towards the back of the mat to get some grip and resistance and deepen the stretch in the back of the leg. So our Parsvottanasana, our pyramid pose. And release the foot down, bend the knee, and step it back to our plank pose. Straight line from the heels to the crown of the head. Inhale, we shift it forward. And exhale, lower down halfway chaturanga, then into lower knees, chin, chest to the ground. It's coming all the way down to the ground. Okay, let's reach the arms back. Tops of the feet press into the ground super hard. The shoelace part of the feet that is pressing into the ground so hard that you feel your knees lift up off the mat. Mouth, chin, and forehead come centered. Shoulder blades squeeze together like you're holding a pencil between them. And then option here to bring the hands behind the back, interlacing the fingers. So if you don't reach, you can use a bandana or a belt to close the gap, or just stay in that same position as we did last round with the arms down by the sides. If the fingers do interlace, see if you can get the palms to touch. And then an inhale, chest and shoulders rise. Really, now with the arms towards one another, you can squeeze the shoulder blades together, reaching the chest forward. And option here to even lift the legs. But notice that they splay apart. Instead, try to bring the toes towards one another. Whole body in one line. A locust pose, or a variation of Shalabhasana. So here we're fully breathing, even with all the pressure on the belly and diaphragm, building up those deep breathing muscles, those good posture muscles as well. One more breath here. And release the legs, release the arms. One cheek can come down onto the mat. You can bend in the knees and just drop the knees side or the feet side to side, releasing any pressure from the lower back that may have built up. So, let's see, evolve. You wanted locust pose, so that's one variation, but while we're here, let's play with another variation as well. So we've wind up our shoulders quite a bit. So, the positioning, we're still going to be on our belly, but I'm just going to show you the positioning, is the arms in front. It's like you're trying to get your elbows to touch, the sides of your hands and wrists to touch, straight down on underneath your body. So you're coming down to lay on top of your arms. Really trying to bring them as close together as possible. So my elbows don't touch, but I just tell you that because that's the direction that they're going. And then from here, we're going to point the toes, squeeze the glutes, and then lift the right leg up as high as it'll go. So it takes your whole back body to really engage to get into, to get that pose going. Also, your forehead can be on the mat. I just have my chin on the mat so that I can keep talking to you. Then we release that right foot down. And now the left leg goes up. Keep breathing fully. So just like in our thread the needle pose, the toes are reaching up and back behind you. So instead of pressing more weight into the face, Right, so the energy's going up and out, up and back. Float that foot down. And then the next part is both of our legs go up. So mouth, chin, or forehead are on the mat. Deep breath in. And the exhale, both legs reach up. So I'm really pressing into the ground with my hands, with my arms. Really squeezing through the glutes, reaching up through the hands. Reaching up through the toes. We've got 2 deep breaths here. Float the feet back down. Release the arms. For the other variation of locust pose. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Let's press the hips up and back for our child's pose. Big toes come to touch. Space between the knees. Hips touch down to the heels. And release the chest and head down. Child's pose. Take a couple breaths here to rest. That's a good deep stretch for the elbows as well, which we don't always get. Let's press the hands into the ground. Bring it back upright. I actually do want to just do a little bit of wrist work today. So I'm going to turn the palms up. So here we are, tabletop pose. I'm going to turn the palms under. You might have to do one at a time, that's just fine. You're going to spread wide. And then from here, we're working on just extending the arms straight, turning the elbows forward. So, look direction. So you might be here working towards straightening it out, and then elbows turn forward. It's like you're opening a jar. See? This is the center, and now it's facing forward. So elbow health today as well. Obviously, that's a lot of weight on the wrist, so you can bring your knees in a little closer to loosen the weight or lessen the weight, or bring the knees further back. Still, the shoulders stay over the wrist, so I'm not leaning back and bringing my feet back. Or bringing my knees back. I'm just bringing my knees back, and that's going to bring more weight into the wrists. Just here for another 2 breaths. So it should feel intense, but not sharp and painful. Gently release there. Tuck one hand, and then the other toes tuck under. Sit back on the heels, giving your wrists a little bit of a break. You can interlace the fingers and give it like an infinity sign. Wrist flossing, just bringing some blood back into that space. Gently shake off water. 3, 2, 1. And yeah, we're gonna do lots of chest opening. So let's just bring it up to kneeling. Toes can tuck under. And we'll bring the left hand towards the left heel. Maybe that's on a block, or maybe it reaches. If it reaches, we're gonna squeeze the glutes, pressing the hips forward for half camel pose, Ardha Ustrasana. And just give it a couple big circles back with the right arm. I said a couple, but I meant 3. And on the third one, we're still reaching back, and the breathing continues. Notice if you scrunched into this left shoulder, and just press the chest away, press the shoulder away from the ear, and then you can use a little momentum here as you reach forward, bring yourself back upright, neutral the spine. Right hand releases down towards the right foot, or block, stack of books maybe. And the left arm gets these nice big back strokes. On third, sweep back. We'll stay there, holding it there for our Strasana half camel pose. Remember to press that right shoulder away from the ear so we're still engaged in the muscles. We're not hanging on the shoulder or anything like that. Use a little momentum here to reach the arm forward. Bring yourself back upright, neutral kneeling position. Hands release down to the mat, toes tuck under, and hips press up for downward facing dog. Finding your spacing here, so a little bit close, just let the feet back a bit, the head heavy, chest pressing down towards the ground. You might find a little more space in the shoulders. After all that chest and shoulder opening, really think of downward facing dog as a leg heavy pose, but a lot of it has to do with the openness of your shoulders and chest. Alright, so from here, you're going to bend in the knees like a frog or a spring being loaded. Bring the chest up over the hands as the legs extend long. Bend in the knees, coiling back, and then extend the legs long, coming to this high plank position. Hey, say in training, hello, hello. Bend in the knees, send it forward. Alright, this last time we're going to hop it forward. It's okay if it takes more than one hop for you. Big toes are touching. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And we're holding here in the forward fold. We're not holding the breath. So the knees can be a little bit bent here even. We're working towards straightening them out. Just bringing the backs of the knees towards the wall behind you. Setting the hips up towards the sky. Let the head be heavy. Maybe the hands grab onto the heels or the backs of the legs to help pull your front body closer to the tops of your legs. So it's almost like you're trying to get the full front side of your body to be folded in half towards one another. Ustrasana, or rather, yes, Ustrasana forward fold. So I'm really trying to get the crown of my head towards my feet, even though it's not going to touch, it's just the direction of the body. My hips towards the sky. Then we'll release it, rolling up one vertebra at a time. Hi, Billy. Billy and Satan, how are you guys doing? How are you guys feeling? Sorry, so we rolled up to stand, sweep the arms up overhead, bring the arms down. Great to see you. How was your weekend? Big toes come to touch, hands come onto the hips. Let's just let the right knee open out to the side, just like a door opening. For our tree pose, option here is to bring the foot up to the inner calf, or even the inner thigh. So it's really tempting to put the foot on the knee, but we're going to avoid that, so we're not putting knee straight on the knee. We want to strengthen our joints, not put extra pressure on them. Doing well, hiding from my mom while we visit her, but I'm good. Oh dear, okay. So you're visiting your mom against your will. Hips are pressing forward, knees open out to the side, glutes squeeze tight. Are you just taking a break, or are you trying to avoid her for this entire visit? Alright, so the glutes are squeezed tight, pressing this knee open, crown of the head towards the sky. And it's okay if you have to reset here. Hands come to heart center. Sometimes, when we visit family, we just need a little break. So glad you're choosing to take this little break with me. Just breathe a little, get a little centered, reconnect with yourself and reality. Remembering not to take what other people say to us personally. Like, nothing's personal. Even when people tell you that. It's about you. Let's gently release this foot back down. Yeah, my wife and I are visiting. Well, Well, she does not understand privacy, so the whole time. Okay. She's gonna find you either way. Got it. Alright. So from here, left knee opens out to the side. Drag that foot in. Maybe comes up to the calf. Maybe comes up to the inner thigh. But either way, we're keeping this knee open to the side, like you're between a pane of glass. So really squeezing, engaging in this left glute to keep it in place. Yeah, I think privacy with moms can be hard because they're like, keep out of my body. What do you mean privacy? And that's not to say that that's right. I just think that that's a pretty common sentiment where it's like, oh, boundaries. And they're like, there are no boundaries between us because we are one. And you're like, no, I'm individuated. I have a life and a personality separate to yours. And it can be kind of hard for everyone to, yeah. She got way too personal. Good luck on your hide and seek, Billy. Yeah. Yeah. Family knows exactly how to make it personal, right? It's like the people closest to us know the most about us, for better or for worse, and often for worse. What they say, if you think you're enlightened, spend a weekend with your family, and you'll be sent right back down to the reality. Alright, let that leg down. Alright, well, sounds like you might need to shake some stuff off also. So maybe you came at a good part of class because we're about to go into our lymphatic shaking. So lymphatic shaking, let's see, like I was literally showering and she came in to talk. Oh my gosh, too much information. You know, yeah, okay, we're definitely shaking now. So we're gonna lift and drop the heels to create this shaking in the body. It's just like jiggling, just to release tension. And also it's just for the health of the lymphatic system, help drain it out. Yeah, so those are really, watery boundaries. Okay, I'll stop. But, yeah. Hopefully your visit isn't too long and painful, but I get it, dude. Like, just be rough. So, jumping. Yeah. It can be sometimes kind of painful to set boundaries with people when they take everything personally. Or if it is like literally it is just you that I don't want you doing this. It can be hard for people to be told that you want some distance in your life, some space and privacy. So yeah, sorry you're going through that. I think that's a hard one because your mom too. Obviously you care about her because you're visiting. Literally a glass door. Oh, no, you're fine. Thanks for sharing what you're going through. Alright, so we're still shaking here. Just let the shoulders rise and drop, rise and drop. And wherever you hold tension in your body, you really want to be able to just let that go. There's no wrong way of doing this. You just want to keep the momentum going. We're building up some heat, some vibration. Yeah, I guess, it's probably hard to have like a mature conversation through a glass door in your shower with your mom about giving you privacy. I get why that's frustrating. Alright, we just got like 10, we're super close, yeah. Alright, so we're shaking. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we built up some heat. I feel that tingling. This next practice is all about letting go. I mean, if you're staying with your mom right now, she's probably going to come in and be like, what are you doing? But maybe she'll join you, or maybe it'll scare her away. I'm always like, if your neighbors hear you, you can just like invite them next time. So it's called Breath of Joy, and it's a 4-part breath. It's all about letting go of, just letting go. So it's 3 sips of air in. So in through the nose, arms sweep up. In through the nose, arms sweep out. In through the nose, arms sweep up. And a big ha. Arms throw back. So you start to like yell. Yeah? We got about 10 rounds of this. Feet come nice and wide so you feel stable. In. 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 Ha! In. 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 Ha! In. 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 Ha! In. 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 Ha! 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 3 left if you haven't joined me yet. Now's your chance. Ha! Ha! Last one, make it count. Ha! Okay, one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Eyes can close. Let's take a moment here to observe what was created. What shows up for you when you let yourself take up space and be loud, and shake, and yell. Or what shows up as resistance to fully participating. It's not right or wrong, it's not good or bad, it's just something to notice. Some days more shows up than others. We'll gently blink the eyes open. You might grab a sip of water, or towel off any sweat that may have built up. You know, sometimes we're visiting family and maybe yelling is not going to be super appreciated by the people you're staying with. You know, so if it's like you're about to wake them up, hey Greg, and it's a respect thing, totally. And if it's you don't feel like explaining yourself thing, you know, I get that with my family, and you're probably expected to explain yourself with everything anyway, so usually I just kind of do my own thing, and I'm like, well, they're gonna expect an explanation, and oftentimes I don't have one besides like, this is just me, this is just how I am, I'm just gonna, you know, shave my head every once in a while and yell during yoga. I think as you get older, your parents get, or I don't know, I don't want to say we wear down our parents, but they become more accepting of things not being a phase, and they're just like, alright, this is just like who you are. But obviously every family is different, and totally respect that you're going through a challenging time right now. So if you're already on the ground, Greg, how are you? How was your weekend? How are you feeling today? Piplef, hello, hello. Welcome in. How are you? All right, so just taking a sip of water after very vigorous breath work. If you're already on the ground, you just stay there. We'll meet you. If not, you can come down with me. Good. It's hot. I heard. I have some friends in the Pacific Northwest who are like, it's 90 degrees and it's like 10 a.m. Like yesterday, I was like, oh, that sounds dangerous. Inhaling, arms sweep up overhead. Exhale, we forward fold. Inhale to a halfway lift, hands on shins. And exhale, knees bend deep, 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 so deep that we come down to seated. I body is good. Good, I'm glad, Pipluff. And 115 today, and yesterday in my neck of the woods, 115. I can't even imagine. Alright, so feet come together, let the knees splay apart, give the knees a couple rises and drops, and a little foot massage here. So I used to teach hot power yoga at 5:30 in the morning, and it was 105 degrees and like forced humidity, and I loved it, but that was for, you know, a 90-minute class, and then I showered, and then the rest of my life was not 105 degrees. I can't even imagine what 115 feels like. Previous record for my town was 106. Oh gosh, so that's not even something you're used to. I have some friends in Vegas who've been experiencing like 114, and I actually don't know what that even feels like. I can't imagine. What's it called? I don't know if I've ever had AC. I'm blessed with air conditioning. I feel awful for those that don't have it. Yeah, you know, even when I was living outside of Boston, and it would get up to like 102, but that wasn't normal. But it was like maybe a day or two out of the year, and it was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go to the mall today or whatever, so you could get out of it. But 100, I mean, that just seems like dangerous, actually. All right, hands come onto the. I'm glad you have AC though. Hands come onto the shins or calves. No, shins or feet. Let's pull it in to get nice and tall in spine. And exhale, wave forward or fold forward, belly, chest, head. Arms can reach forward as you just drape over the legs, or an option here to grab onto the lower legs to press elbows into the knees for a hip stretch. We did lots of hip opening earlier in class, so you might find you have a little more space to play today. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. I think the high is like 66 today. Here where I'm at, but I don't know, they always say it's going to be cloudy and it's always sunny, so. Yesterday was warm, but it was like 72, I think. So, yeah, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. Alright, we got one more deep breath here. Let's bring it back up to seated. Knees come in together. Let's just scoot forward a bit. Hands come behind the knees. And then we bring the shins up parallel to the ground. Shoulder blades squeeze together like we've been practicing all class. And then maybe the hands release out by the sides. Deep breath in here. And exhale, open it up just a bit, sending the legs a bit straighter. Inhale to hold. Exhale, extend the legs a bit more. Inhale, hold. Exhale, extend a bit more. Inhale to hold. And exhale, releases you all the way down. Arms and legs reaching to the four corners of the mat. Ooh, full body stretch. And then we'll bend in the knees, hugging them in towards the body. Give yourself a little rock side to side. And let the knees release over to the right. Stacking left hip over right hip. Right hand lands on the left knee. The left hand crosses in front of the chest, reaching towards the ground. And then see if you can make a circle over head without releasing the touch from the ground to come into that letter T open with the arm, like how we always get into. We usually just go into it like this. But today, just test out your range of motion. And it's not bad, or if you can't keep that connection with the ground, you just want to notice at what point does the hand have to come off the ground to complete that journey. Press this left shoulder to the ground. Otherwise, everything's relaxed. It's okay if the knees don't touch, if they don't touch the ground. You might even turn your head to look over the left fingertips to complete this spinal twist. Supta Matsyasana, supine spinal twist. Head comes up through center, knees come up through center. We'll gently release the knees over to the right. No, over to the left. Sorry, everything's opposite for me. Left hand lands on top of the right knee. Right hand crosses in front of the chest, touching the ground. And see if without leaving the ground, you can draw a big circle overhead until it comes out 180 degrees. I don't know if there's a degree, it just comes out straight out to the right. We'll press this shoulder down to the mat. Over the right shoulder to complete the spinal twist. Everything is totally relaxed. We're just using breath and gravity to complete this pose. And the shoulders pressing down to the ground. It's the only real effort here. Bring the head back through center. Bring the knees through center. Just notice, is there anything left that your body's asking for that would round out your practice or have you feel we're satisfied with the movement here before we come to stillness once more? Maybe there's a last part that didn't get the attention it wanted in the first place. There's no wrong answer here. It doesn't have to have a yoga name. It doesn't have to be anything specific. Just kind of listening to what our body's asking for right now. And often it's not going to ask in words, just in gut feelings. So we're just building up this line of communication. Experimenting. And as you're ready, you can extend the legs down the length of the mat, feet land at least a foot apart, legs so relaxed that the feet naturally splay open to the sides. Arms come down by the sides, shoulders tuck under, supporting the chest, the palms look open to the ceiling. A symbol of mudra, of receptivity. Allow yourself to receive the full benefits of your effort here today. Eyes can close if that's comfortable. If not, a soft gaze towards the sky is just fine. And if you know laying like this brings discomfort, you can bend in the knees, feet come to the outer edges of the mat, knees knock together. Lift and tuck the hips under before placing the hips back down, and that should give your lumbar spine, your lower back, more space and stability. So either here in broken bridge or in Shavasana, corpse pose, or of course there's always the option to be seated up if you practice in a chair for our final meditation. Just grab a singing bowl to play for you guys. So here we're just allowing our breath to deepen. We'll start with 3 cleansing breaths. In through the nose and an audible sigh out the mouth. Invite space between top and bottom teeth. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth. The jaw hangs heavy. Nose and nostrils rest. Gently allowing air to pass through, like waves lapping up to shore. Eyes rest heavy in their sockets, eyelids just barely touching. And the space between the eyebrows broadens as all the muscles in the forehead relax. begin to curl. Every inhale brings your awareness towards the surface. Head gently rocks side to side. And arms reach up overhead for a full body stretch. Allow your knees to bend and roll over to whichever side feels natural. Landing in a fetal position, your bottom arm can be used as a pillow. Fully relaxed and fully supported by the ground below you, bring to mind any intention or dedication you set for class today. If that intention inspires you, take it with you off the mat and into the world. Allow it to affect you and the people around you for the rest of your day. With eyes still closed or gently lowered, press your hands into the ground to come up to a seated position, just like how we started class. Hands come to meet at heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. Today we worked on a series of chest opening and upper back strengthening postures, some hip opening as well. The first namaste is said silently to yourself, thanking your body for the effort it put into class. And the second namaste is said out loud to the community that held this space. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone who joined me today. I hope you found something that serves you. Let's see. So relaxing. Good, I'm glad. Rinium. I'm not sure if yeah. What's it called? I'll definitely have to check them up. Check out Rinium. I don't know how to say their name. But stay in training. Thank you for what's it called? Standing up for me. I do trust Greg and his recommendations personally, just because he's been here for he's always given me some good recommendations. But I appreciate you looking out for me. You guys are the best. Honestly, I feel very, very blessed and very lucky that I have such sweet people that frequent my class, my streams. You guys always put me in a good mood, especially when, or anytime, but yeah, when I'm feeling kind of like, oh my gosh, what is the world? What am I doing with my life? Why am I doing anything at all? This stream can be really affirming. With you guys show up, come hang out and meditate and practice yoga with me. I really appreciate your presence.